Club people. I have to tell you, CNBC Investing Club, we're starting to get a lot of traction. And I hope that the move downtown for Mad Money for my show does matter. Thank everyone. Josh came really terrific podcast talking about what we're doing. And then you don't want to be too self-reverential, but my wife was here. So it didn't matter.
It was an exciting day.
It
rang the bell.
It's exciting.
We got a nice green open. Positive day going so far.
It's funny you mentioned that because we talked when we were ringing the bell about what a kind of day it would be like had we had a down day. Because you and I are about trying to help people make money. And you want to have a day where people are making money and let it be on their own. I got my statement my wife got her statement, which is just S&P funds. And she said, what is going on? I'm getting killed. And I said, well, that's what the gloom is. And we're celebrating the fact that there have been a huge number of stocks that have broken through the gloom since we started the show in 2005. And I'm very excited about it. Now, some are breaking through the gloom right now. We have the markets are beginning to try to reflect and digest a 75 basis point, which, let's just be really clear, if it's Bank of America, means $1 billion for doing nothing. I do see the market rewarding the banks, which report today, basically on the idea that things are not so bad.
Yeah, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, they reported this morning. Market is viewing those numbers well. We should circle back to Wells Fargo from last week, who reported last Friday. That stock rallied 6% last Friday. Really, they raised their net interest income guidance for the year. They maintained their expense outlook, which I think was really important as well. And it's a couple of nice days in a row for the banks.
And I think that when you listen to Charlie Scharf, his whole demeanor has changed. He's less defensive. They're further along in the issues that the hand that he was given, which is a very tough hand. And I see this stock going back. And I'll tell you why I think it's going back. They got dividend right now. They did not buy anything back in this quarter.
Yeah.
But the fact is that they have earnings power that reminds you why it ever got to the old days. Mm-hmm. Remember, it was here on the Super Bowl week in 2018. So I like stocks that you're buying. I know that this is obviously the slope is bad, but the trajectory could be a change trajectory here after that quarter that was so strong.
Well, the slope is bad. The market has been selling off the banks, hand over fist over concerns about a recession. But 2 strong days in a row for the banks. Is that a good sign to see that type of leadership?
I think it's terrific. I think that Morgan Stanley had a great number. Goldman Sachs is being viewed as a terrific number. I thought the Bank of America was terrific. Citi was amazing.
Yeah.
These are very important stars in the firmament. You want a rally led by the banks because it says that things are solid. And I like the way that things are solid. Now, at the same time, we made this bet on oil. You know that. We put more on oil, and the oils are coming back. Nat gas, a high of 7.2, highest level since June 17. And that's a Coterra that wins. Pioneer, we know, wins. And then Halliburton reports the second quarter tomorrow morning. I know we have a ton of Halliburton, but I'd buy it. Wow.
Yep, that's a nice
Holy
week.
Cow.
Oil coming back. Yeah, Halliburton. Look, I'm excited for the quarter. We'll get a good read about our participants. Are the drillers finally spending more? Remember, Halliburton is the big North American player, so that will obviously we'll hear about what's happening within the United States.
This was here. I don't think it's a stretch to think that it can come back. Remember, here's what happened. The Russians flooded the world with oil. We didn't think the Russians had the capability of selling it to everyone other than China. India stepped up. And when India stepped up and some other smaller countries stepped up, then Russia went back to what it was pumping. And so then the price was too high, given the fact that we're dumping the SPR every day. Now, I don't know whether they'll continue to dump the SPR because refinery margins have come down.
Yep.
But I say, look, the way I want to view the oils is this time they spiked. When they spiked, if they spike again, we will take some off. In the same way that we took off some Eli Lilly, which is spiked, some Humana, which is spiked, and some Qualcomm, which is spiked, because we don't want to be, and this is in all my books, greedy. And in retrospect, we were greedy when we had such huge pops in the oil.
Yeah, we should be clear. We still like those 3 stocks a lot. Obviously, Eli Lilly for that, the great diabetes and obesity drug as well as what they're doing in the brain. Humana, just a a very a strong and dependable grower. You had UNH report a great number last week.
And I thought
too.
that it was that they will do better than UNH because they were in a little disarray.
Yeah, and Qualcomm, we still like that semiconductor stock a lot. It's cheap. It pays a nice dividend. They have a nice smartphone business, and they're really growing in auto and IoT. But it was up eight of 9 days coming into that.
That's
so not a surprise to see it
what happens is this. Okay, so we get this,
hot.
and it's too hot. Now, when we in the oils, we have what is known as a parabolic move. A parabolic move is when you get a straight up on the same news. A parabolic move is always unsustainable. Even with Tesla, it ultimately proved to be unsustainable. And so we should have been more considerate that it was going to go back to the trend line. You have to be very tough on yourself. And I would like to say to you that I got greedy. I just said, you know what? Let's take this Corsair to 40. Let's take Pioneer. It's got that great yield. Take that to 300. That did not happen. That was greed. We must always check our greed. Now, here's something that's interesting. I am beginning to sense that NVIDIA is making a comeback. Now, that would be something.
Yeah, it's interesting. You have Qualcomm down a little bit today, 70 cents, but NVIDIA is one of the top performers in the portfolio today. You think this is perhaps
I think it's
around
real.
the CHIPS Act? Is it maybe the stock was just down too much?
It was down too much. And one of the things I said to you this morning was I think that the first 100 points down, and that's a lot, but we did sell some higher, was because it went to 750 billion, which was wrong. The last 50 points made no sense to me. And the reason why is because what they do, people keep saying it's gaming and Ethereum. They do high performance computing. There has been no diminution of high performance computing. Now, high performance computing is the Facebook, it's Amazon, it's Netflix, it's Apple, it's everybody.
Yeah, Alibaba, they're called the hyperscalers. They're buying up all these data center chips left and right.
Right. So if you go into a farm for data center, it's NVIDIA, some AMD, small amount of Intel. And the idea that NVIDIA is an Ethereum play, let's give it a break. I hope that today's gain is not because Ethereum is making a comeback. It is true that if they have cards that are somehow damaged, they put them in the Ethereum channel. They do not try to make a lot of money out of Ethereum. Now, one of the things that I'm toying with, are we at the end of the era where when you split the stock necessarily goes up? And I think Google is a good example of perhaps the end of another era of greed, where a company splits stock, which we know creates no value, and then the stock goes up big. We don't want that. And this, to me, says that the market is getting more rational. That's something I went over with Larry Williams, because we got a piece tomorrow for Larry Williams, by the way, who says that we're in a sustainable rally. Now, there was a woman after me, and I'm sorry I don't recall her name, when I spoke this morning, and she said, listen, I categorically disagree with Jim. And what did she disagree with? I said, the consumer's strong. Yes, the Fed has to raise, but we will be good because the balance sheets are so good and jobs are so plentiful. And that's something I'm not backing away from, Jeff. I think that that's the scenario. Industrial has a problem.
Sure.
And food has a problem. The famine. There are a lot of people who feel like we're food constrained. These things can change. And so I urge people to recognize retail, food, they will go down. It's just as Carl said, they go up like a rocket and they go down like a feather.
Yeah, well, it seems like the issue with retail is more of that they just had too much inventory,
right,
or the wrong type of inventory.
And we got caught there with American Eagle Outfitters. Yep. And when I look at what we've done wrong, it's American Eagle, it's Wynn. I don't want to give up on Disney entirely. It's PayPal. But I focus and go over these. I obsess on the declines because when you make mistakes and you learn from them, that's how you make a lot more money.
Yeah, and by the way, Disney, they're raising the subscription fee for the ESPN Plus. I think that's pretty
very good because it's kind of dragging you into the bundle, which is much more lucrative for them. I wish the stock hadn't become pigeonholed to being Disney Plus because the parks are so good, because they have movies that are very good. Movies make a lot of money, but we just seem to think that all that matters is up or down Disney Plus. That's going to be a mistake. I think Disney is still the cheapest stock in our portfolio. I'm just standing by that. Well, okay, for Jeff, this is Jim, and I am thankful to CNBC for everything they did. I love Mad Money down here. We'll be about the best guests. We'll have a lot more fun. You have to watch the closing bell. It's going to be nothing like it ever used to be.
Exciting times.
It's exciting times. Thank you very much. it.